Good evening, everyone. Hey, Chicken. Hey, Wedge. Good to see you. Welcome. Folks that will be peering in, folks that might see this on YouTube. My name is Kevin. I go by Kgart82 on Instagram, YouTube, here on Twitch. I am a digital modeler, sculptor, have been for about 20 or so years now. And now I'm live streaming and making stuff for myself and trying to help folks do that for themselves as well. So we're gonna get going. How's everybody doing tonight? Are we having a good time? Do we have a good Saturday? Let's open our scene. Get over to our shark boy. Yay, thank you very much. It's really nice to see you here. How am I? I'm good. I tried to be productive today. Was not as successful as I would have liked, but you know, it is the way it is sometimes. Let me pull in some of my Jef reference. Let's see. Just so you know, ads are going to start in about 5 minutes. I always start them to get some out of the way early. And actually, while I'm doing this, I'll just start them right now. So hang tight. Hey, what's up, Art? Thanks for coming in. I'm going to run some ads real quick just to get them out of the way. I appreciate you guys are here. Stick around. 3 minutes. Hopefully it'll go quicker. Running now. See. There's that one, and where is the main pose? There we go. That and that. So let's bring these in. Doop, doop. Boop. Buggies. Also trying to hydrate early. Oh man, that's awesome. Art with the 3-stream streak. Let's go. Okay. I'll just wait for those of you that are watching. Otherwise, here's where we're at. Got our Sharky boy going. Tonight we're going to try to work on the proportions of the legs, do some of the sculpting work. See, I don't know if it worked. It's meant to be copy pasta art of Ghostface. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it kind of looks... I see half of Ghostface on either side. It's one of those things where I think it depends on the chat. I can do this weird thing where I can like extend, fatten up my chat through the software, skinny it up. Maybe I can... Maybe I can make it happen. Maybe I'll take a picture of it. No, that's too much. No, I don't think I can get it. Trying. It like does it like half of the mask is on one side and half is on the other. But I can't get it all lined up, unfortunately. I'll take a picture and I'll post on my Instagram. My mic's gonna go out for a second. All right, I took the picture. I'm gonna have to send it later. But yeah, I'm seeing like half and half of the Ghostface mask and like the hood. But yeah, thank you, Chicken1 for saying that it looks good. I appreciate it. We're getting there. I'm gonna do some. So if we look, obviously the Marvel Rivals style is very graphic, and we're not gonna get into that aspect of it. So I'm really looking at trying to find plane changes through the art, and also kind of tightening up. There's some areas where you can see like some skin folds and wrinkles and stuff like that, and just tightening up the geometry. And I'll probably start with the head and work my way back to the tail. And then depending on how far we get, we will work on posing tonight. And thank you, Art, also for the 3-stream streak. I appreciate it. You are a Ghostface guy, that's for sure. If anybody didn't know, Art of the Kills is a Ghostface guy. Speaking of, we're going to start with this. Let's see. Spell that right? All right. Yeah, go follow Art if you can. He's a gamer. He plays. He's on Twitch as well. Really awesome guy. Also very supportive. So I appreciate you coming through and hanging out for 3 streams now. It's been awesome. And then in a little bit, I also want to shout out my buddy Wedge, because he's also really supportive, fun streamer, really cool chill vibes. He's in here lurking, hanging out early. I saw his chats before I even went live, which is funny. And yeah, so we'll shout Wedge out in a little bit. But I think I've yapped enough, so this is where we're gonna start getting going. Let's see, just bought that EU. That's right, I saw you post about the EU mask. Getting size for the robe soon. That's cool. Did you say something about the mask smelling like vanilla? Also, something like that. That was I thought an interesting comment about it, and I'm curious about that too. All right, so let's see. So the first thing we're going to do, so right now, this is the state of the mesh. Let's take it off perspective mode. So it's a low poly mesh right now. I've just had it kind of on preview mode to smooth it out, to kind of look at how the details have been going when it smooths out, but this isn't actually divided up. So now I'm going to start doing that. And I'm gonna not do it completely to a high subdivision level just yet. Just getting it stepped up higher. You can still see the polygons at this point. And this is so I can kind of go in and start fine-tuning some of these details and not commit it at a really high level. Because then sometimes it's a little bit harder to pull back. So I'm gonna kind of just like go slow, find areas that are interesting. Let's see. The vinyl for the Ghostface masks, specifically the more matte finish ones from 23 to 25, smell like vanilla ice cream, like the vintage ones of the 90s. Very interesting. I'm very curious to why they went with that color myself, or not that color, that like scent, or a scent at all. I mean, I imagine that you kind of want to put something in there because the general scent of a rubber mask is just not the most pleasing. So I think adding a scent probably is awesome. But yeah, so yeah, I'm just gonna go through and kind of look at these little details and plane changes and try to nail these in and work on the mass. Like the ridge is a little bit sharper, so I'm going to use the standard brush to kind of start to get that in and go back and forth with this and the smooth brush, because I don't want it to be too harsh, but I definitely want there to be a noticeable plane change there. Also, we're going to dip this back right here. And he's got a bit of a lid. Ooh, I'm going to tone down this brush. I'm also going to use clay tubes every once in a while, which has this kind of like square kind of tube-like shape that it runs across the surface. I use it a lot for blocking in hair, but it's also good for just like working on a mass and getting the shape. And then you go back through with the smooth brush kind of pull back on the shape a little bit. Let's see, what else did you say? Let's see. Whatever chemicals they use for the vinyl to make the mask causes vanilla. So it's just kind of like random? Or was it random back then, and then because the chemical change, they added that to bring back that nostalgic feel? Or are they using the same formula from the 90s as well and, you know, getting that same result? That's where my brain is going with that question. See, the matte finish is also better for photography, and they're the ones that are used to the Scream movies. Cool, man. Very cool. All right, so he's got a little bit of a lift up here. So we're going to raise this up, and it makes kind of a mound that leads into this forehead ridge. And it actually kind of goes here. So I'm trying to do this play here of getting this kind of lid mass, and then also working with the forehead ridge. And as soon as I have those kind of tightened up, then I'll subdivide again to get a higher resolution mesh and start to tighten a bit more. Oh, thank you very much, Chicken. I'm glad you are enjoying this. You know, it's one of those things where it's hard to say what people are going to, how they're going to feel. I'm also going to like try to make his head a little bit more pronounced. Like there's a little bit of a dip here from what I can see. So even though he doesn't really have a head, he's got that smooth kind of body. There's a little bit of something playing. I think I'm gonna make it a little bit more pronounced than it probably is in the actual model, just because of the pose that we're going to be getting. I think I'm also going to make this just a little bit wider. Now, it doesn't have much of a tear duct, but he does have a little bit sharper of a ridge for the eyelid all the way around. So I'm going to try to make this a little bit more pronounced as we go. My kid is super into Pokemon, and he had to start one of his games over, and so right now he's going over some of his strategies and things with my wife downstairs. Having a good time. All right, now I'm going to bring out the cheeks a little bit. I will say too, I definitely grew up on Pokemon. I'm not as into it as I used to be for a number of reasons. And it's not like oh, I aged out, Pokemon's for kids and stuff. No, I was like super into Pokemon Go when that came out. So was and is my wife still. But for me, I just kind of got tired of the app. I think before they did a lot of the updates that actually made it a little bit more interesting, and I just haven't been able to get back into it. But I will play it every once in a while just to keep going with the fam and to not be a party pooper, though I'm probably more of a party pooper than I should be sometimes. But yeah, they're both playing. I think they're playing Scarlet and Violet right now. Because we did get both. My wife has her own Switch, and then I got a Switch when it came out, I think. And the kiddo kind of ended up using that one a lot more than I was using it, so it's basically his at this point. Right now, in this, it really makes his nose look very nubby. And I don't think it is that nubby, but I could be wrong. So I'm just kind of fill in this area here to make it more of that shape. And honestly, it probably looks a little cuter. And since my reference image for the pose leads into that, I'm going to lean into that more myself. The fun thing about when you get to posing is that there's a lot of exaggeration that's happening, especially in video games, that you kind of have to play with. But since I'm going to be making this, I'm trying to consider this as like a real world application. I got to make it make a little bit more sense. Because like you can see, it's not going to be a big deal in... Hey, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Glad you made it. How are you doing? I appreciate you being here for sure. All right, now we're just working on Jeffy. We're getting there. Tonight is mainly kind of detail stuff to get a little bit closer to his final look. Let's see. I got homework to do, and I haven't done it yet. Of course, I'm glad I caught you. Yeah. Hey, work along, Have me in the background. You don't got to chat much. If you want to chime in or if you have questions, please do. But that's also part of why I'm doing this, is so folks can kind of work along and have a good time. Maybe learn some stuff. Maybe I learned some stuff. Let's see. I figured out why they smell like that just now, actually. Oh. That's funny, dude. Let's see. Halloween masks, particularly classic Ghostface masks, smell like vanilla because manufacturers intentionally added a vanilla base scented additive to the polyvinyl during production. The scent was introduced to the masks or to mask the harsh, unpleasant chemical odor. That's what I was thinking. So yeah, so when I said that earlier, I was right. Yay! Go me. Thinking. Yeah, I figured because I have definitely smelled plenty and plenty and plenty of those awful Halloween masks through my life since like the 80s and through the 90s, and so it made sense to me, like thinking back of the smell of those masks, that adding a scent eventually was like, hey guys, these things are kind of gross. Let's fix this. So cool. Thanks for finding out that lore and dropping it on us, Art. I appreciate it. All right, so he's got a little bit also, this like section kind of builds up back here and goes back into the head. So I'll just bring that up. And now I'm getting to the point where I want to add a little bit more detail. This is a little bit too low, so I'm going to divide it up again. I'll kind of smooth out these sections that are looking a little rough as I go. Let's see, for real, I could go in blindfolded and you could take me to a Halloween section, a Halloween store, and I'd know I was in the Ghostface section. Yeah. No, that's really smart. And it sounds like, I mean, clearly, like you said, you could find the Ghostface masks just by the scent. So that tells me that like that's pretty unique. And I'm surprised, and I wonder like what other companies did similar things to their masks, Or with the Ghostface mask, did they just put the extra effort in? Also, right now what I'm doing, I'm using the inflate brush in some areas to kind of balloon them out softly, and then going back in with a smooth brush. Gonna round his eye just a little bit more. It kind of comes in here, but it's still really, really round and cute. So I want to get that eye shape in there, but I don't want to do it too much, Let's see, I wonder if this, I think I need to divide it one more time. I want to throw the nostril in there. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's see. I'm assuming for your degree you had to take art history too, right? What classes did you take? I'm taking a medieval period class right now. I'm freaking loving it. Cute little nose, yeah. Yes, I did, I think one art history class, and it was very, very, very generic. So we did go through some medieval art history stuff. But we definitely hit a lot of different cultures. So yeah, I did, but it wasn't, I didn't do any like period specific art classes or art history classes, which, you know, probably a shame. But again, I'm in the state university system here in California. Okay. We have 2 basic classes required, and then I think 2 elective art history classes. Yeah, we had, I think, 1 required, at least for my degree. Like, there might have been like some other degrees that had more required of them, but for my animation degree, and I think it wasn't new, but it was still an earlier degree or early time of the degree, and it had a lot in it itself. So there was, you know, I think a lot of exceptions that I probably didn't realize. So for me, it's hard to say. Like, it might have been the same in general for other art degrees, similar to what you're doing now. And it probably would have been better for it if we had a little bit more art history, but them's just the breaks in the long ago. All right, I dropped down the subdivision level, though you couldn't really see because it's still pretty high. I'm just going to slowly inflate this area because I want to get a little bit, not too much. Now I'm going in with the polish brush and getting a little bit of a plane change going here to kind of go along with what's going on here in the front of Jef, right underneath his mouth. A little bit of soft plane change. Let's see, was there anything you learned you still remember as being really cool? Like me, there's at least a couple of things I can name right off the top of my head. Well, I mean, are you talking about naming off the top of your head from this class? Because, like, let's talk about also time frame of remembering and how my brain has not kept up with a lot of the knowledge from back then. So, you know, like art history in general, but you're right. I mean, I can't think of anything specifically from the class because, you know, I've continued to, you know, learn history and look at art history, and some of that stuff has just become kind of general knowledge for me. So I don't even know if I could tell you something that, like, I would know specifically that I could link back to that class. Water. Also, I will say, I've not ever been like a history buff. I've always done horribly in history classes. And for me, it's just kind of the tedium of the way it's usually taught. Not so much an issue with history itself, because I love history. It's great and it's important. But yeah, history classes are often not taught very well. At least not to my brain and my needs. Okay. That's looking a little bit better. I'm wondering if he's a little wide. Let's do something fun. Bring him in just a little bit. Yeah, that looks a little better. Let's see. It doesn't have to be from class, lol. My teacher showed us a picture of an intact scroll from the period that was literally a lesbian love spell. That is awesome. See, like we didn't get cool stuff like that. That's really interesting. That would have stuck with me. Getting to see or hear, learn something about that. Most of the stuff that I learned was pretty general. Let's see. Now let's put the tongue a little. I think there's a little bit more of a bend here. Whoop. Yeah, he's so sick. I love it. People are wild. I mean, if you think about it, like way back then, like they had to be, because just like things were not as accepted, or maybe they were in that area, in that era. Like there's a lot of stuff that like we don't really know as far as how well things were and how widespread acceptance of sexuality was in different times. Like we only have really bad documentation. See, for sure, and how much info we've lost in time. That, yeah, exactly. I mean, if you look here, I mean, here's a fun, not fun fact, something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. Like all the sciences and health knowledge that we lost during the Nazi regime because they burned so much institutional knowledge from centers that were studying sexuality and not just sexuality, but medical needs for different types of people, because the whole goal was to try to generalize everything, which is such a weird thing to do, because medicine even in itself is such an individual kind of based thing. So everyone is going to be different in general, which is funny, speaking of it in general terms, but everybody's different. So trying to generalize too much is just such a bad idea. You want to kind of narrow down all the different categories and then see what you're closest to and then fine tune, you know? Yeah, medical evolution is crazy for sure. All right, look at that tongue. That's looking better. Might thicken it up a little bit. Hey, what's up? Oh, thanks, Jay. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome in. How's your day been going? You know, we've only been going for about maybe half hour or so tonight. I don't think I started making progress right away, but probably a good solid 30 minutes of work, I would say. But yeah, what were you up to today, Mr. J? See, I like how you did the tongue. Very cute. Thank you. You know, that's one of the things, you know, finding some good reference is really, really key. And then also not being a slave to the reference, you know? because when you're making your model, you want to put yourself in it a little bit. Not like make it particularly you, but give your feel, give your life, a little bit of your style. I've been going in with the hard polish brush to kind of get like fun plane changes in here, because I'm trying to simulate a little bit of that plane changes that kind of come with the strokes that give it this almost geometric shape going out through everything. And also, like I said, I'm going back through every once in a while with the inflate brush to try to puff things up a little bit here and there. See, pretty good. Did some work earlier, errands, then some relaxing. Nice. How about yourself? That's a good question. Might open his mouth up a little bit more. Or maybe bring the tongue down. So I wanted to be productive today, do some cleaning around the house, and I did some stuff, but I wasn't as productive as I wished I had been. But you know, que sera, such is life. Same. Yeah, I know. Us neurodivergent folks, we always have grand plans. Sometimes we just can't get to them. I did get up and move around the house and move things, and I didn't get all the things done that I wanted to, but I made progress, and that's good. You did what you could. That's the best you can do. Exactly. Thank you, Jay. Exactly. Also, I did post a little bit on Instagram, but there's something else that I've been working on. This is just kind of a side thing. And it's fun. So Pocopia has gotten like really big. We don't have it. I want it. I want to play it. But yeah, so I started working on this little character. Chicken's still here. Chicken's very familiar. You still in here, Chicken? No, I think Chicken took off. But yeah, so this is basically of someone I know, and she's been playing Pocopia, and she posts on Instagram and stuff. So this is based off of like one of her outfits that was really popular and fun. So I was like, hey, I'll make that into a Pocopia character. And so yeah, I've been having fun with this. So base is done, and the detail work on the character's done. Now I just got to figure out the pose. So that's going to be my next job. Let's see. The ditto thing freaks me out too much. That's funny. So because of that, you're not going to be playing Pocopia? Oh, thank you very much, Jay. I totally understand what you're talking about. About the ditto stuff kind of freaking you out. So I don't blame you. Although I do find this version of a ditto human much better than what they did in the Detective Pikachu movie. I don't think you missed the train. I have a feeling that it's gonna chug along. I think it is going to continue for quite a while, because it's I mean, Animal Crossing is still going pretty strong, and that was pandemic times, you know. All right, thanks for the lurk. I appreciate it, sir. But yeah, Animal Crossing is still going on, and that came around 2019, I think. And they supported it for about 3 years, and they're like, okay, we're going to be done. And now they've added more to it because Switch 2 came out, and it's kind of got a resurgence. And that game is old now. It is actually an older game. Let's see, true. That last update, though, came too late. Oh, yeah, I agree. That last update should have been way sooner. They should have had some of those features like in between. And then once the Switch 2 came out, had a couple more features for Switch 1 folks, and then do all the cool Switch 2 stuff. But, que sera. All right, now I'm going to start. I'm not going to say that I'm going into posing yet, but I'm definitely going to start moving the limbs and sculpting them. So I kind of want to get the proportions right before I start messing with the legs. And then I'll get into kind of posing stuff. And it's going to take a bit to kind of move these into the right place and position them right. Because as you can see, it's weird stuff's happening. Let's see. I also thought they were going to do a whole multiplayer thing. I'm excited for the posing. Yeah. I mean, what's also nice is this there's not going to be a lot of going on with the pose here. So it's not going to take too long to pose, and I'm kind of already going to have some of the pose done. Just getting these legs into place, which is nice. So, like I said, kind of going into posing, but not quite. Do. All right, his shoulders are a little broader, so it's not bringing too close together. And man, those are some stubby looking legs. But he's also crouching a little bit. So let me do this too. Let's see. I would have thought that posing would be like the first thing you do, because what if you have to sculpt areas different? That is a good observation and a good thought, and it just very much kind of depends. For me, I don't like to pose in the beginning because there's a lot of things that are symmetrical that as soon as if it's already posed, then you have kind of like double the work on either side. So for me, I keep it rather symmetrical as long as I can and then pose, because posing isn't, that crazy, especially when you keep your subdivision levels. So what's nice is you can take care of a lot of sculpting work that would be kind of doubled up by keeping it symmetrical. And then, sure, you're going to have to resculpt some stuff, but it's going to be minimal. But I mean, it just kind of all depends on your process too. There's not really like a wrong way, because there definitely are people that do it that way for sure, where they just sculpt in place. And that's kind of a traditional way of doing it. Because if you think about a traditional statue or clay sculpt, they're sculpting it right into the pose. But for me, also, it's just in practice. There's a lot of times where I'm also going to be reusing stuff too. So if I have a model kind of in a base A pose with details fairly taken along to start, then if I need to do that character again, then all I really need to do is just pull it back out of the archive and pose it and then get the details locked in. So a bit of work on the front end can help in the long run. Let's see. But yeah, so that is kind of my thought process and just plain process of why I do it that way. And I wouldn't necessarily say that's like an end all be all for anyone, you know? Let's see. His knees are way too high. Also, while I have him like this, I'll mask off the leg. That's not what I want to do. There, yeah, that's kind of what I want to do. I want to make a new poly group so that will be easy to select the leg later. There we go. All right, so that'll be easier to take care of later. Like right now, I can just tap on that and mask it off. So this knee is way too high. So I'm going to drop this down. See, did you see new season of Love on the Spectrum is coming out? Yes, and I'm actually behind on Love on the Spectrum, unfortunately. I was watching it with a friend of mine, and she just hasn't been in the mood to watch a lot of stuff. And we started several different shows over a period of time. And so I worry a lot of those shows I'm either going to have to pick up on my own or I don't know what, you know? So I do want to catch up. I think I watched the first 2 seasons and then didn't watch the third. Or is this the third? Season 3 is the... Okay, so yeah. So I haven't watched season 3 yet. All right, so we're gonna try something that's fun here. So I've already done sculpting work on this, but I want to add edge loops here since I've kind of shifted geometry and stretched things out a bit. So I'm gonna move some of this stuff. Still want to get that knee kind of in place. Also going to thicken up these legs a bit. There we go. So I want to get this geometry exactly where I want it to be, all the way around. All right, and now I'm going to step the subdivision levels back up all the way to the top. I'm going to do something called, well, first I'm going to save. I haven't saved in a while. Let's see, save Jef the Shark. Replace. Save often, kids. All right, so now I'm going to go to this right here. If you can see it, it says freeze subdivision levels. Over here on the right. So I'm going to click on that, and it steps it down to the lowest subdivision level, and it saves the higher subdivision level information, but now it's allowing me to work on this lower subdivision level as if it was the only one. So I can throw in a couple other edge loops in here. I can even kind of move the geometry around a bit. There we go. And then I can go back and hit freeze subdivision levels button again, and it toggles it off. And now it's going to reintroduce that information, and hopefully it doesn't blow up that area. It should be simple enough. Yay! So yeah, all it did now was just add more geometry for me to work with. And see, so now I can step up and down, and it has those extra subdivision levels. When you have something already divided, you can't manipulate the geometry in that way. So they added this kind of like workaround. So I could even go in and change a lot more geometric information. But since this character is pretty simple, I'm not going to have to worry about that. All right, so as you can see, his knees are kind of smooth. They're there, but he's got, you know, they're not as knee-like as I have it. And that's basically just because of the geometry that I put in there. But I'm going to smooth and round that out and get it more to his kind of pudgy leg shape. And mostly what I'm going to try to do is do this without the groupings on, so I can kind of see. And then he has, we'll step it up, and this will kind of help us mark where we're doing this. On both sides, he has these little wrinkly, foldy buildups right above the foot and below the knee. It looks like there may be like two little wrinkly folds kind of like on top of each other. So we'll kind of rough them in first. So we kind of know where they are. And also, this is where I'm going to go with clay tubes. I'm going to turn down the intensity on clay tubes so I can start to really fill out and round out this shape here. How's everyone's Saturday been? Anybody do anything interesting today? other than cleaning, I made breakfast for the family in the morning. We got up really late, actually. That's also part of why we weren't as productive as we wanted to be. It's because it took us quite a while to get out of bed. But I still made breakfast for everybody. Let's see. I am building a steamboat populated by sentient frogs in Minecraft. That is awesome. I love that sentence. That might become one of my more favorite sentences. Ooh, all right. So this is going to be another. Oh, you're welcome. So he has. His toes are a little bit more toe-like in this reference compared to what I have. So I am going to. I'm still going to keep this because I do like the way his toes are here. And I also need to throw the toe beans in eventually because he does have some like typical like doggy, more cat-like toe beans underneath. So I'm going to do again, step up, do the freeze subdivisions. I'm going to throw in a division here, maybe two. I'm going to do that front. Excuse me. And I'm going to do it in the back too. So one closer to the edge, one in the middle. And what's happening is I'm going to try to create more of a separation between the toes. And then the one in the middle is just a little bit more division for the claw to work with, to just kind of smooth it out. So let's start with this. I'm going to use the lasso to first grab this, and I'm going to get rid of this edge loop by deselecting it. Then I'm going to mask and invert the mask. Then I'm going to use the gizmo here we go. So sectioning off that toe area just a little bit more. And then also there's a little bit of a fold. And we'll see how this goes, because this sometimes is where things start to blow up. But I'm going to section off that. I'm going to extrude that little area. So I'll be able to get like a nice little fold in there for that toe section. All right, and now I'm going to do the same thing for this toe. I'm trying to do this real quick. Cute beans, thank you. Tell me more about your sentient frogs. I would like to know. Autosave. Oh, and ads are going to start in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to read through this while autosaves. Let's see. It's a part of the Rabbits mod, or the Ribbits mob. Basically introduces frog villagers that spawn mushroom towns in the swamps. Ooh, that's fun. I wonder if my kiddo can get that mod. Oh, what happened here? Okay. I was inspired by Over the Garden Wall. Okay. The fairy scene with the frogs playing music and the frogs in the mod do in fact gather and play instruments. So I am relocating them now to my new steamboat. That's a lot of fun. What version of Minecraft are you rocking? I don't remember what version we have, but we have it on the Switch, so it's a little different. Let's see. 1.20.1. Yeah, but like what version is that? Like, is that? I know there's Java and there's a couple other, like, I don't remember the names of all the different like types. Oh, Java. Cool. I think that's the version that's on Switch. I could be wrong though. Okay, almost done with the back foot. Oop. All right. Now we'll do the same with the front foot. And it's almost time for ad break. Let's see. I think console's bedrock. That's right. I think you are correct. But yeah, I love this feature of ZBrush with the ability to go back and fine tune meshes at the lower subdivision level even after you've divided. It doesn't always work out in like the best way if you have already done a lot of sculpting work and it's a very, very, very high resolution or dense mesh. But we're still early days. So this should all be all right. Oh. Come on, there we go. Can also probably do this. See, I'm going to pop out for a bit, might be back. Who knows? Bye for now, Kevin. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone that comes through. It's always nice to have folks to talk to and to share knowledge with and to get some feedback from. Y'all are really stellar for spending your Saturday nights with me for however long you do. That is definitely something I super appreciate. So if I don't see you again later tonight, thank you for popping in, and we'll see you again in the future, hopefully. And we have to just hang out in general because it's been a while. So, bye-bye. Ooh, yeah, that would be great. All right, as they leave, how's everyone else in chat doing tonight? Art earlier was talking about the Scream masks. Jay was talking a little bit about his day. Any other interesting happenings for anyone today? I hope so, because it's nice to have some interesting stuff going on in your day. That's for sure. What I'm excited for is after this, after we get Jef to a good spot, I'll pose up and everything. That's when I plan on going through and doing the color work. But I want to do something fun with that stream. So I'm going to try to partner with another buddy streamer of mine. Oh, speaking of, we've already talked about it a little bit, but we haven't ironed out the details, but this is a perfect time to shout him out. Let me just make sure I spell his name right. Yeah. Boop. So yeah, if you want, we're gonna do probably a joint stream in a couple weeks, maybe. And if it doesn't work out, I'll still do like a painting stream of Jef. And then he and I will figure out something. But yeah, he is a painter of minis. And we were thinking it would be cool to kind of do this IRL painting and digital painting tandem and just talk through our processes and yap and chat and have a good time. So yeah, if you could, give Mr. Wedge a follow. He's a swell guy, as I said earlier. Good vibes in his streams. And ads are starting. So we'll see you when you come back. Hang tight. At least it said they started. Maybe not quite for you yet. It's really funny how it will tell me, yeah, ads are starting right now. And then it takes a while. I am getting better at trying to warn folks, though. Okay, so I got all the toe beans, or the toes, not the beans. Beans are underneath. Toes reworked. So let's do a quick save. All right. And then we'll unfreeze. See how it's going. All right. So yeah, so it did some weird stuff, but that's okay. Some really weird stuff because it feels like it added another subdivision level. No, not subdivision level. It feels like it added another edge loop that I didn't put in here, which is making it a little bit more challenging. So, what's funny is I think I'm going to actually undo a lot of that. Because it might be easier to sculpt all that in, considering what just happened. But this is sometimes how it is. Sometimes you plan for something, you try to get around it, it just doesn't work out quite the way you want. But that's okay, because there's other ways to do it. And this is probably how I should have done it the whole time, but we're going to find out. So, I'm going to drop this down to a lower subdivision level. Oh. I am going to bring these in still. I'm just going to do it in a different way. But what is good, that despite what kind of was lost in time, you kind of got to see what I was talking about earlier, how sometimes that tool just doesn't work. Because what happens is it reprojects what was there before. And so it reprojected the same sculpt that I had previously, and that just didn't play well with the new mesh that I created. Now sometimes it would work well, or at least enough that it would be okay to just kind of keep moving forward. But it did some weird things where it had like some of the new geometry going inside the model, and yeah, that just, in order to fix that work, it would have taken a lot more effort than just kind of backtracking. But them's the break sometimes, you know? If there's one thing I've learned, sometimes it's okay to start something over if it's not quite working out to your liking. And it doesn't have to be this defeat or failure. It can feel like it is because you might think, oh, I lost a lot of time. But often you've kind of worked through what you're trying to do anyway through all of that. And whatever you're going to do next, as long as you don't dwell on the loss of time or work that you've kind of perceived, you actually can get through it pretty quick. And it ends up being not as unproductive as it might seem. So who all's still in here? Who's hanging out tonight? If you would like to know, the wonderful lass that was yapping a lot is one of my favorite people in the world. Oh! Don't excuse ZBrush's inadequacies. I mean, I'm not. I can complain plenty. I still love the program for many reasons, but there's plenty wrong with it. That's just more kind of a general kind of work issue. That can happen in any software, where if you lose something or you attempt to do something and it doesn't quite work out the way you want. That's what I was getting at, Josh, but thanks for chiming in. It's good to hear you. Thanks, my #1 supporter. I appreciate you very much. Nice to hear from you tonight. But what I was saying is the wonderful chatter that was chatting earlier is actually someone who's near and dear to me. I mentored her for the past, gosh, I don't know how many years, but she is a very close family friend through someone that I went to high school with. And when she got out of high school, she was struggling with knowing what to do with her path. She's a very talented artist, but kind of didn't have a direction. And she is also neurodivergent. And I was asked to kind of mentor her. So her and I worked together for a number of years, trying to help her get to where she wants to be professionally as an artist. And I'm happy to say she has finally made it to her dream school, and that's what she was talking about, like kind of like the work and stuff that she's doing and having homework and stuff. So it's just nice to hear from her and hear how she's doing, because it definitely wasn't me that got her to where she is. That is all her hard work. But I'm just happy to kind of be a part of the guiding force that helped her finally land on that path that I think she knew she wanted to get to, but she just couldn't quite see it at the time. And I think that's a tough part for a lot of people, is we kind of have an idea of where we want to go, but we don't know how to get there. And we don't know who to ask or who to talk to. And, you know, she was kind of lucky, and I was, you know, kind of lucky just to be able to help someone, because I really enjoy being in a support role for folks. But it was a lot of right place, right time. Okay, so I basically have those toes reworked. Nice, and I do like how they're looking now. So now I can go in and get a lot of this kind of like sculptural detail into it. I'm going to use the Dame Standard brush. I'm going to work on the Lazy Mouse. Lazy Mouse is great because it adds kind of like this trail, and it helps you do slower strokes that are a little bit more controlled. And he's got these toesies right like this, but they're not claws. They're very fin-like. Almost like little flippers. What are you up to today, Josh? I know WonderCon's going on right now. Wade's there. I'm not. He messaged me and was like, "Hey, you going?" I was like, "Nope, not this year." I guess he was saying that not a lot of people, at least that he knows, are going this year, which is very interesting. I have my reasons for not going. It has nothing to do with like the convention or anything, just kind of timing and a few other factors, to the point where I was just like, yeah, no, not going this year. But I didn't realize that there were so many other people that were not going to be showing up this year either. All right, now I'm using the standard brush, which just kind of gives like a roll to build up that flesh, to kind of make it feel like it's slightly folding up and over. This is the same brush that we use to kind of create these skin rolls here. And then we're also going to go back in this area with Dame Standard. The reason it's called Dame Standard is because there is the person that made the brush, their name is Damien, but the brush itself is it's DAM Standard. So a lot of people at first started calling it Dam Standard, and then we learned the name of the person that created the brush. So now we call it Damien Standard. I think we're doing pretty good. We're an hour and a half into the stream. And our shark boy is looking more and more like himself. All right, so I'm going to use Damien Standard and just like get kind of a more defined bit on this lower roll, because that's what it looks like it's happening in the reference here. And then again, we'll build up this roll. And and then kind of softer on top because it folds there too, but it's not as harsh of a transition. And then again, now we're at this higher level. I think I'll step down just a little bit. We're still like kind of like chubbing up this front area here. I'll smooth it out a little bit. Then we'll step up, smooth that again. And then we'll mask so that way I can kind of like chub up this area up into the body, round that out a little bit more, and not affect this as much as possible. There we go. All right, and then I think we'll mask this off again, and I want to kind of do the same thing kind of like in the shoulder area here. Just kind of bulk him up. I'll take that off a little and work on this transition right here. Now part of that is the collar is there, so we don't want to do too much. I want to keep it still ahead of the collar. And I think we'll pull the collar out just a little bit right there. All right. I think I am going to start to bring his legs in, I think at this angle, because it looks like they're a bit thinner here. But they're kind of thick from this direction. So it's almost, I think the fin kind of situation is happening. And as you can see, because of the white there, because it connects to the body, I am going to do a little bit of a plane change there too. So I'm going to bring in the hard polish brush, kind of do a little bit of a flattening here in this area, because eventually that's also where we're going to do a color break. And then as we step up the divisions here, it'll become a little bit more clear. There we go. I'll smooth it out a little bit too. All right. Definitely liking the progress so far tonight. Definitely, definitely. Thanks for the folks that are hanging through. Appreciate you. Jay, Josh, as always. All the other folks that are lurking or on the outskirts. All right, so I'm going to drop the subdivisions down. And then I'm going to do the same thing to this leg that I did with the other leg. I pose it in. But I think I'm going to just like kind of like have it back for now. And then I will also go in and do the same thing that I did last time. Go in and I'm going to mask off these back legs so I can grab them later, more easily. Right now I'm going to double just so I can see this inner geometry because I kind of want to try to fix some of it. And the neat situation actually for this leg is not in as bad of a shape. Well, not bad shape. The other knee wasn't in bad shape, but it's not as different. Hey, still listening, just doing some stuff behind the scenes. Sorry, quiet tonight. Hey, no, that's fine, man. That's fine. Not everybody's going to be talkative every night. Last stream was particularly yappy and chatty with a lot of folks. That was a lot of fun. Tonight's been pretty good for the most part. But you know, people got to go where they got to go, and sometimes they get a little tired and are not as chatty, and that's okay. But there's one thing that I've learned so far in my short time streaming is that you never know what to expect, really. And it's best to kind of roll with the punches and just appreciate the time that people give you. And I do. I appreciate any time that anybody is willing to give to spend with me on my little art stream as we make fun things. Okay, so that's a better position. Eventually we'll fold up this leg a bit more. think he does have bigger haunches back here than I have. At least that's what this reference is telling me from this pose. So that's something that I'm gonna try to build up. See, man, maybe you should take some artistic liberty and get rid of you really have a problem with that little nub. Maybe I'm just gonna leave it there. Just for you. Also, I think I just saw just a second ago, Wade is live from WonderCon right now on YouTube. A surprise stream. It definitely enhances, yeah. Enhance. That makes me, have you ever seen Super Troopers? That makes me think of a pretty funny joke from that film. All right. Okay, so until I get to the point where I bend that forward, I'm not going to worry about like the wrinkles and the bends, but I am going to work on the toes. That's exactly what it is. Awesome. Glad we're on the same page, Josh. Good to know. Oh, and while you're here, I might as well tell you, like, I've gotten all the artwork from Wade, and so now I'm definitely hitting the ground running on all of the Odious stuff. And I'm thinking sometime in May is when we are gonna, you and I are gonna start hitting the ground running with some of the things that you and I were talking about. Let's see. Dude, me and my friend were the guys that literally drank a bottle of syrup. I should watch it. By the way, I don't. Oh, yeah, no, you don't. Thanks for letting me know that you don't recommend it. And I will tell you firmly, the recommendation isn't needed. I kind of got the idea from watching them. Also, the special features, knowing that the guy that played Rabbit actually drank a bottle of syrup. You can see in the film which one has like watered down syrup. I don't know if it was watered down syrup or if they did like iced tea in that one, because they kind of like figured it out. I think they shot all of the other guy's stuff. Ooh, excuse me. The other stuff first, and realized, wow, no, that's not a good idea. And yeah, he had a crazy sugar crash. What sucks is the footage of it doing it lost to time. Is it the DVD that I have has like shots of that, or the footage of you guys doing it? Yeah, that's unfortunate. I have I've had similar experiences with stuff that was filmed that we'll never be getting back. See, me and my friends doing it, yeah. It took me a second, but I got there. Oh, by the way, since I have your attention, have you opened her yet in all of her glory. Tell me that you've opened Jinx and how much you love it and how much I'm going to love it when mine finally gets here, whenever that is. And I know you were putting together that big diorama set too, which that looked pretty crazy. Was that just buildings or was that the sewer set? Because I know I saw a bunch of people with that big sewer set. And that looked really cool. It reminded me of the old sewer set that I had. Let's see, open, but haven't really unwrapped all her stuff yet. She's next on your list. Good. The sooner the better. Because I want to hear about it. Let's see, oh, that is a big sewer from... Yeah. I think I saw Yimbo had it and was starting to put it together. Saw some pictures on his gram or video, but like not like much further than the like, hey, I've got it and I'm gonna start it, it's big. It very much reminds me of the old sewer set that I think, was it Playmates at the time? I don't remember who had the Turtle license way back in the day that was making the toys when we were kids. All right, I will do this. Open up this tail a little bit more based on the reference. I think I recorded. Yeah, where are you gonna put it, man? It's pretty crazy. Like, I get the appeal, but it's like, it's just, yeah, it's so big. Like, I've seen some like big Transformers. I was like, oh, I want that, but I'm like, I don't have a place for it. Like, even if, let's look for a second. Here, let me get, oh, let me get Shark Boy kind of centered here. Let me save him again. Jef the Shark. Let me go back to my full me for just a second. If you can see my big old Devastator, he's about 2 feet tall, I think. Maybe not even that, maybe not that big. It's hard to say, but that was like the Combiner Wars Devastator, and he's a big boy. That's kind of as big as I feel like I can go. And then the movie Devastator, which is like right next to him, he's big, but he is more flat, so not as big a space. And then I do like the new Studio Series Devastator because it's much better figure in general compared to that one that's up there, and it's smaller. So sure, it's not to a really cool big scale, but it's definitely a better figure in my mind just because it's smaller and nicer to work with. Okay. We're doing good tonight. See, I might go in and do some gum work right now, real quick, just to kind of give the body a break since I've been working on that all night. Let's see, let's save it one more time. just because I have that itch. It's really funny that you talk about that that footage that you lost. I don't remember if I talked about it before on stream, and I might say for the grander story for like Halloween time, because it's kind of a ghost story. But long story short, some buddies of mine, we went out to kind of a haunted location, and we recorded ourselves, kind of did the whole found footage thing, which is really funny. And we got some interesting footage and audio, and we gave it to someone to enhance because we really couldn't like make it out every time we were listening to it, and we never got the stuff back. So lost to time indeed. I sympathize and I understand. All right, so I'm going to hide the body for a little bit. I think I'm actually going to hide the collar too. And I think I'm also going to hide the eyes and tongue. There we go. So yeah, I'm not going to go super crazy right now with this. I just want to get the idea of the kind of mounds that seem to form around. And it's also really simple with the way they have it in the art. So I'm not going to do anything super crazy. Just kind of want to indicate. I think I'm going to use the inflate brush to start. That's right, that's because the tongue is there. I don't have those back teeth kind of there. The only reason I have these two teeth kind of here is because that one is here, and so I mirrored to the other side just to make it easier, because I did this whole side section over here. Smooth out a little bit, move these mounds around to kind of fit the teeth. And now we'll do the same thing for these front teeth. It's more about the front and the back of the gum than really what's between. So Josh, when did you come, if you're still, you know, available to chat, when did you pop in tonight? Did you pop in early? Or did you pop in a little bit later? Because I wanted to ask you if you saw something that I showed earlier. Because if you did, I'm not going to bug you about it. But if you didn't, then I'll show you right now. All right, let's bring the body back in. Yeah, there we go. See, probably about 10:30-ish, but had to leave a couple times. Okay, so let's see. So did you see the, let's see, this last. Did you get to see this when I popped it up? It actually might have been around the time that you popped in. But no, I'm super excited about it, only because for me, most of the time I'm working on, you know, stuff at the studio, and I've only started recently doing kind of my own stuff. Free run is relevant to a certain extent, but like it's not brand new. And same with Jef the Shark. Marvel Rivals has been around for a while and that kind of stuff. So probably would have been fun for me to work on him when he came out, but time-wise I wasn't doing stuff yet at that point. This Pocopia is fresh, so this is like one of the first times where, let's see, I didn't see, but I heard the Ditto talk. Oh, yeah. So here's this little Ditto lass that I'm working on. It's of a streamer that I know. She is sweet. She's a nice person, and I'm on her mod team, and she just got Pocopia, and I was just like, oh, those characters are really cute. I want to do something with that, and I never do like try to jump on trends or do something that's super familiar at the time, and I was like, you know what, this is a good opportunity. So this is a Ditto version of her, which was fun. So all I have to do next is do the pose. I'm kind of torn between doing kind of a traditional pose from the game, from the Ditto folk, or doing a pose that is more her. And the Ditto poses are just like, you know, like silly, arms out, expressive kind of things, which are fun. But the one I kind of am leaning toward of her is actually unlike some of the Dittos. And there's this she basically does like a lot of Instagram photos of herself. She's a content creator, so she streams and she does content stuff, and so she takes photos of herself. And so I thought it might be fun to do like her Ditto character kind of like sitting down with a Pokédex held out like a phone, like she's like taking photos. And I feel like that would be kind of fun to do a Ditto version of that. So I might do that, or I might find just like a real good traditional Ditto pose, but we'll see. So this is just another fun thing that I've been working on the side, kind of like a short project. I actually haven't spent a lot of time with it. Luckily, those little Ditto characters are very simple. So yeah. All right, I think what I'm gonna do right now is this. I'm going to quickly finish up kind of like the indications in the back here for the gums. And then I'm gonna do the gums on the top, do the same thing. And that might be it for tonight. So before we do that, let's look at and see where we're at. Oh, the dog is being growly. But yeah, I think Jeff's looking really good. Almost into posing territory. And I think that is definitely what we're going to get to next stream, which will be fun. And then we might start to do painting stuff. That's what I'm going to talk to my buddy about, that who's really cool painter guy, and see what he wants to do. Oh, another fun thing. It's not set yet, but you know what? I'm not going to announce it right now because I don't want to. But I'm going to be doing something cool in the very near future. And Josh, I'll actually talk to you about it off stream. But yeah, there's a fun little opportunity that I'm excited about. Someone reached out to me, and yeah, we'll just leave it there as a tease. So I'm going to do the gums real quick for the upper shark teeths. And then we'll call it a night. It's nothing crazy, but I think you will still think it's cool. I think it's cool, and I'm excited. But yeah, it's definitely something that is happening, but it's not like been discussed further other than, hey, I think these are some dates that work. And for me, I think it'll be some nice, for lack of a better term, one of those old terms that people used to use for artists. It'll be some good exposure. But the actual type of exposure that artists like, not someone trying to take advantage of them. Because that's usually what that meant. Hey, I got some exposure for you. Will you do some artwork for me? No, I won't. Your exposure means nothing. Please give me money for my work. I would like to be exposed to your money. That is what artists want to do, because it's our living. That's what we're doing. Do we do art for fun? Yes. Like, this is fun for me. Is this only for fun? No, I'm trying to do a lot more things with this. And I am making some money off of this. I'm trying to make it worthwhile in some sort of way. Because it's not just me, I have a family that I need to take care of. So yes, be very intrigued. It's going to be fun times. Did that, I know you had shipped stuff off for that show. Did that start yet? I know we talked about it. I always forget the dates. You'll find that my memory is that of a sea turtle. That is very short. And I remember things, but I don't always remember all the details. So did that show already happen that you shipped this stuff out to? Oh, it's this weekend. Okay, so it's happening right now. Okay, so it's the same as WonderCon. Okay, actually, I wonder if there's a couple cosplayers that I know that are at another show right now, and I wonder if that's the one. I'll need to see what it is, because I know the one that I follow is more East Coast. So I'll have to look and see what she said that show was. and I'll get back to you. Toyland. Oh, that's no. It probably isn't Toylantic since that's a toy. That's right. You told me it was Toyland. That is a toy-specific show, and it probably isn't what she's at, because she is. It looks more like a traditional kind of comic book convention, where Toylantic clearly is more niche and not like, ooh, it's small. Just it is more focused on all of our shit. Okay. There we go. Now let's bring Jeffy back in. Hey, what's up, Six? How's it going? Thank you for popping in. I appreciate you. You might be just in time for me to start wrapping up. I'm gonna add another ad break, the last one of the night. It's gonna be coming up in about 3 minutes. And then I'm gonna do the wrap up, talk about the progress from tonight. Here you can check out where I'm at. I'm not technically started posing Mr. Jeffy here, but there's some things sculpturally that I wanted to do, and I needed the legs in a certain position. So I've started to move, but not for posing purposes. But as you can see, if I put the reference up, his legs are much closer to that of the reference now. There's still some things different, but that's based off of the first model that I had, that I was kind of using as reference, that I think you were probably here for. And yeah, I think it's coming along. So I have a few more details sculpturally that I'd like to take care of. So I'll do that at the beginning of next stream, and then definitely we'll get into posing. So yeah, how are you? Did you have a good day? I hope you had a nice weekend. I feel like we have been like passing randomly through the days. The past like day or so, I saw you in the wonderful Miss Ophelia's stream like for a second. I think you probably left like right as I got there. And then today I popped into her stream and saw that you were in there for a little bit, but I think it was well before I got there. And then we got to chat a little bit today. Let's see. His tongue is so, isn't it though? I love it. Like I'll probably play with it a little bit more, add a little bit more character to it once I get like the head tilt in there. But yeah, I just love this pose. It's very cute. It's simple, but it's quintessential Jef, you know? Ooh, a little too much perspective. Turn that down. Ooh, there we go. But yeah, he's looking really cute. I'm really happy with how he's looking so far. I do like the tongue a lot. I was lucky. One of the discords that I'm in, a lot of people play Rivals, and so I was like, I'm gonna be doing a Jef sculpt. Like, what is the best pose for Jef? And here's like the images that I have, and it was pretty quickly stated that this was the one. So this is what I'm using. But yeah, I hope you've been having a good day. We'll talk a little bit more once the ads are done, but they're just about to start, so I'm going to stop yapping. Tell me when you're back. And Mr. Josh, if you're still there, we can chat a little bit while we wait for folks before the night wraps up. I think what I will do while we wait for people to come back, open that up a little bit. And move this back and up, because there's some little spheres on either side here. And the ads have started. All right, unmask. All right, yeah, there's the little nubs. They're on either side of the tag. There we go. Make it a little bit smaller. Bring them together. There we go. Probably not exactly in the right spot, but that's okay. We got something in there. Another thing done. But I hope Toylanta was successful for, or it is going successfully. I don't know. Have you heard anything from the person that you sent your stuff to? How the convention is going so far? I would imagine that maybe you won't hear anything until maybe tomorrow, or maybe even during the week. We got 2 J's in the house. See, yeah, he's checked a few times. Maybe sold between 5 to 10 troll heads. Nothing crazy, but good, good exposure. Yep. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Hey, welcome back from the ad break, everyone. So yeah, this is where we are stopping tonight. I added a little like bit to the collar to hold the tag. Got the guns going. Got a lot of nice kind of defining details done in the face and the legs, repositioned some of the body parts. But yeah, definitely not done, but I'm happy with the progress made tonight, and happy that you all were here for however long to see that. Thanks again, Six, for the compliment. Glad you're here. Appreciate any time that you come through. Always nice to get to chat with you. I know we'll chat on Discord and on the Instagrams throughout the week. But yeah, so plans moving forward. Next week, I'm definitely going to finish up kind of all the sculpting detail that I want to get done. So that's the back leg. Gonna refine and define that like we did for the front legs. There's a little bit that I want to do to this fin here and the body. I don't like that transition, so I'm gonna kind of fix the transition from the body to the back fin and do a little bit of sculpting of that. just basically refining these back areas here, and then I don't think that'll take too long, honestly. A lot quicker than the front legs and the tongue and the face and all that did. And then we can wrap up with at least starting the pose. We'll get the body into position and start working on that cute head tilt. Because damn, he's so cute. And then we'll figure out what the following stream will be. And at that point, hopefully I will be done with the base for Freerun and can start doing engineering streams of her. And also, I have more Odious work finally to finish up, so we can get files to the factory, and I'll probably do at least one Odious stream. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of, like, again, subtle stuff tonight, but I think it's that subtle stuff that really kind of locks everything in. So yeah, I'm very happy with the progress tonight. Moving the legs down really helped, finally getting that kind of proportionally right. Got to do the same thing for the back legs, position the body. It's going to be very interesting to pose this guy because he's so chonky, so there's going to be a lot of like stretching and moving around. And everything with the head needs to move all of this stuff with it as well, so I'll just need to be very careful to make sure that I don't misalign the teeth and the tongue and the eyes. Not that it will be super hard to get things into place, but I definitely don't want to make anything harder for myself. And so yeah, also, like I said, I want to do a painting stream for this guy, and I want to do it with my buddy Wedge, so I'll need to talk to him soon to kind of work out those details, how we want to do that, and see if it'll work for this actual piece. And if not, then I'll have to plan that with someone else, or not with someone else. Oh, we'll have to plan it for like another piece and another time, because I definitely want to do kind of a really fun simultaneous stream with someone who's painting IRL and me painting digitally. And this guy, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with the color work and the paint and the texturing, and I thought that this would kind of lend to that a little bit more than some of the other stuff. Like this girl didn't do much. She's just flat colors. Like I probably could paint some shadow stuff, but I'm not. I did some stuff with the grass, a little bit of transition, some highlights, some darker shading on the bottom. Did some painting on the grass, but again, nothing crazy. But the texturing on our cute shark boy is much more. So yeah, so that is the plan moving forward. I'm gonna call it a night tonight. Any thoughts or questions from chat before we say goodbye? I'm so very curious. Let's see, I'm also curious. Who's on tonight? I've never done a raid, but I don't think that anybody that I really know too well is on, so I really don't want to raid any of these folks. And I'm not kind of in the mood to search, but eventually I want to do a raid out. I think will be a lot of fun. Let's see. Have a good night. Well, thank you very much. It was nice to have you in here. I don't know exactly when you came in, but I know you came in for a bit, so I appreciate any amount of time, Jay, that you had. I'm sure I'll talk to you on Discord, both of you Jays, throughout the week. Six, have a good night. Josh, have a good night. Anybody else that's watching or has been through, thank you again for coming in. My name is Kgart82, and I've been working on Jef the Land Shark. We're going to get back to him next Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when I stream. And you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, here on Twitch. And y'all have a good night. Bye-bye, everybody.